you want to hear more about my tips, then stay tuned. Okay guys, so we're going to jump right into the video. So I get a lot of questions all the time about how I got my hair to grow so long so fast. And many people that know me know a couple years ago my hair was definitely not this length. I actually grew up with having long hair down my back, and it kind of just runs in my family. But I got my hair cut, I think in like my sophomore or junior year of high school. I got it cut pretty short up to like my shoulders, or like past my shoulders actually. And y'all, it was so hard for me. Like I cried like a baby because I was just so used to having long hair, and I just felt like I made a mistake. But anyways, after that I continued to get my hair cut, and when I eventually did want to grow my hair back out, it seems like I would just always get to this awkward length of like shoulder length, or like between shoulder and bra strap length. It would grow up until that point, and then it was just kind of like plateau, and I didn't know why. I could never figure out why I couldn't get it to grow as long as it had been before. But a couple of years ago, my hair literally sprouted out of nowhere, and it's like midways down my back now. And I got a lot of questions like, oh my gosh, Anna, what did you do? What are you doing differently? So just wanted to compile these tips for you guys. So tip number 1 is to eat healthy and drink lots of water. And I know y'all are thinking like, okay, come on, give me the real stuff. Tell me, you know, what kind of vitamins that you're gonna take, that you take. At least let that be tip number 1. But literally, this is the most important tip. This is the most the tip that actually saw the most results with my hair growth. I went vegetarian in 2016, and for the better part of the year I was vegetarian. I also went on a vegan fast, so for most of that year I was not eating any meat, and definitely no red meat. So that year when I went vegetarian, my hair grew like crazy, and it took people that weren't usually around me, like my mom. She doesn't live here, but when she would come to visit me, she would say, oh my gosh, Anna, your hair's just grown so much. Like, what are you doing? And then I realized, oh my gosh, my hair is growing a whole lot. And I realized during that time, the thing that had changed the most was my diet. I was eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. I was making a lot of smoothies. I was drinking a lot of water because I was exercising a lot during that time as well. I was on a pretty intense workout regimen. So yeah, it was a lot of things that my body just really loved, and doing those things from the inside out really affected my hair growth. And the way I really, got confirmation that this was what caused my hair to grow was I stopped being vegetarian for a while, like maybe a month or 2. And then my church had this vegan fast at the end of the year, and I went on this vegan fast, and my hair was one length. And 3 weeks into the fast, I had braids, I think, and then I took my braids down, and I noticed my hair had grown like maybe like 2 inches just over the course of a few weeks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know this is what is causing my hair growth for sure, because that was like confirmation for me. Because my hair definitely grew a lot in between the time that I, started fasting versus when I wasn't fasting in those couple months. So definitely want to have a great diet and drink lots of water. Tip number 2, you want to make sure you are protective styling your hair. Now this is very important, especially in the winter months, because your hair is very vulnerable in the winter months when it's cold and dry outside, and you're not the only one that wants to be bundled up, and tucked into a nice little, fur coat or whatever you use. Your hair also wants to be, tucked in and bundled up as well. So typically in the colder months, I like to braid my hair up, put some twist in or some braids in, or, something like that. But yeah, all the protective styles that are on YouTube, braids, twists, locks, wigs, even if you have all of your hair up, weaves, sew-ins, things like that. Anything that's going to get your hair out of the way. I find that my hair does the best and flourishes the most whenever I have as less manipulation as possible, towards it. So whenever I could just, style my hair and then just leave it alone for a while, my hair does really, really great. It doesn't like to be, touched or tamed or whatever the case may be. So right now I'm rocking a blowout, and I do my blowouts and it's like 3 or 4 weeks before I do anything else to it. I have it down now for the, purpose of this video, because I just did my blowout, so I wanted to, get a weird little style. But anyways, a lot of times I'll rock these crown braids, and I'll just have all of my hair braided up into 2 crown braids, or I'll have a bun in or something like that, to where I can get my ends put up and out of the way, because your ends are the oldest part of your hair and the most fragile part. So very important to make sure you protect your style. Tip number 3, get your ends trimmed regularly. This is so important. As naturals, or even as like African Americans, we really, like, especially if we're trying to grow out our hair, we really want to hold on to every little centimeter, millimeter of our hair that we can a lot of times. I know for me, that's how I am. So sometimes I used to, say I don't want to get my ends trimmed because I don't want to lose any length. But I find that even though it seems counterproductive, the more you get your ends trimmed, regularly, the more your hair actually grows. There's a difference between getting your hair cut and your ends trimmed. Oftentimes, if you have split ends or ends that are straggly and raggedy, not only does it look bad, but those split ends can actually travel up the shaft of your hair and cause more damage than if you were to get them cut, because it could cause breakage. It could lead to breakage. So you really don't want that. I get my ends trimmed maybe every 6 to 8 weeks, depending on when my stylist, sees that it's needed. I used to actually do it myself, but now that I'm in Atlanta, I have a phenomenal beautician, and she takes care of my ends, so I definitely get my ends trimmed regularly. I welcome getting my ends trimmed because it actually makes my hair grow and flourish more. Plus, it's easier to style and maintain and all sorts of things. So make sure you get your ends trimmed regularly. Tip number 4, make sure you add moisture to your hair and oil to your scalp. I make sure I try to oil my scalp regularly, and guys, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not the best at this. I usually try to oil my scalp right before I know I'm gonna wash it. So a week before, I'll try to put some oil on my scalp and make sure I'm massaging it, and making sure I'm getting it ready, to get as much nutrients as possible before I wash it. Because when I wash it, I don't like to weigh down my hair with oil, so that kind of deters me from oiling my scalp. I do oil it right after, but I don't continue to put oil in it after I've washed it. But once a week maybe, I try to oil it, or if my scalp gets dry, which my scalp tends to be very dry oftentimes, I try to make sure I oil it. I do the lock method as well when I wash it. So when it's wet, I'll put some type of oil on it to kind of lock in the moisture, and that gives it the more lustrous look and, a shiny, glossier finish as well when I style it. So very, very important to get oil to your scalp, especially as African Americans. Our scalps tend to be a lot drier. Other races, they tend to have more of an oilier scalp, and their hair produces more oil, which is why their hair tends to grow a little bit faster than ours. But ours can grow. We just have to make sure that we're giving our scalp the nutrients and the oil that it needs in order to grow. So tip number 5, last but not least, make sure you are deep conditioning your hair. This is so important. Y'all, I deep condition my hair every single time I wash it. Every single time. I put a plastic bag on and a towel on, or whatever, I can, to keep the moisture in and make it, nice and warm and steamy. And I let it sit for 30 minutes, or I'll sit it in the dryer, or whatever the case is. But every single time I use a deep Aussie 3-minute Miracle moisture conditioner, and I'll let that sit on my hair, every time, for about 30 minutes. Every other time I wash my hair, I'll also add, in addition to the Aussie, I'll add a mayonnaise treatment, just the orange treatment that you buy in Walmart. But I'll add that as well, so I can get some more protein into my hair. And I'll let that deep condition for about 30 to 45 minutes. But this is so important. I found that it's so useful in helping my hair, get more moisture and protein added back to it, especially with my ends, because my ends tend to be very, very dry because, like I said, it's the oldest part of your hair. So very important to make sure you are deep conditioning your hair regularly to add moisture back into it to prevent breakage and damage. So, yeah, so also one more thing, when I go to the salon and my beautician does my hair, I'll also get hydration treatments regularly. And that's when, you know, you have the blow dryer that you sit under, but it has like water inside of the dryer, so it's like steam coming at your hair as you're sitting under with the deep conditioning treatment. So it just adds so much moisture into my hair, and my hair comes out looking flawless and lovely when she styles it. My hair just loves those hydration treatments. So make sure you are deep conditioning your hair as often as you can. Okay guys, so that was the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I promise y'all that is it. That's the only thing that I do to promote healthy hair growth. I don't take any pills or any vitamins whatsoever. And yeah, these are my tips. So if y'all have any questions on anything that I discussed in the video, please make sure to put it in the comments below, and I'll be sure to answer and get back to you guys on that. So also please like, comment, and subscribe on the video just in general. If there's any other videos that you want me to post, please comment down below on that as well. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next